Hi guys. Just having a rough time of it, and I've been seeing a lot about my Bernie story. I mean, I have a lot of examples, but I don't know, something just kind of clicked today. It's really affecting me, hurting me. Um, Real briefly, because people don't have long attention spans on social media. I've worked since I was 13 years old. I worked my way through high school, through college. Went to school at college at night and had a lot of student loans. Did everything right, got a bachelor's degree, worked in corporate America for over 2 decades. And I got an injury back in 2013, 2014 that took me out of the workforce. I have a plate and screws in my right ankle, developed RSD from it. It was a 2 year long recovery to learn to walk again, to safely drive because it's my right foot. And after that lapse on the resume, trying to get back into the workforce as you're approaching 50 was pretty impossible. And I'm a single parent with 2 kids. I had to drop my personal health care last year because I couldn't afford the three of us and I had to keep them covered. And, I've been with Bernie for years now, and Medicare for All is really important. Um, But I'm going through something right now. My daughter, my youngest, is battling an eating disorder of anorexia. It's been about a year. And last year, around late August, September, I took a job as a pet nanny with a local company, and I absolutely love it. I questioned why I worked in corporate America all those years. And I felt good about bringing in income again and contributing and having a little cushion money-wise. But her eating disorder is so accelerated now that every time lately that I would go out to a client to check on a cat or a dog, um, I'd get texts from her or from my son that she was doing excessive exercise. We had taken away all extra activities, and she was just needing to eat and not exercise because her weight is so low. Um, and she can be running in the garage back and forth or up and down the steps multiple times. There's a lot of OCD where she feels like she has to even out the number of times up and down the steps or in the garage. And I realized over the weekend that I was going to have to give up the pet nanny job, um, not just for her health, but I have to be there. Even though they have insurance, the deductibles have gone up so high that as I was looking into possibly putting her in a hospital full time for a while, I have a really high deductible. Both kids have high deductibles. And I can't afford that. And then even if you somehow could afford the deductible, these places, chances are they might not be in your network, and then there's no coverage. So the whole bill's on you. And I am realizing today that it's been a catch-22 for a lot of years. The system, how rigged it is, where you just keep getting pigeonholed into um, uh, situations that lock you out of things. I was faced with a decision. Well, if I can't afford with her insurance to put her in someplace to help her, then the only thing I have as a defense that's left is to be home to monitor the exercise and make sure it doesn't happen and that she's eating. But in order to do that, I had to give up my pet nanny job, which I love, and I had to send a really difficult email over the weekend telling my employer that I was going to finish out the next 2 weeks in February with my clients. And then I just didn't have a decision. The healthcare coverage doesn't allow for decisions. And I think about this is literally people's lives. You see it with diabetics and all sorts of health issues, people making choices. And I'm upset. I'm angry, of course, and having to give up the job, and I'm scared because there won't be any income. But my daughter's 13. I have to keep her alive and monitor this because the insurance won't cover the most important things I need to keep her alive, the programs, the outpatient things or support groups. So it's just been a rough couple of days. And one client in particular I had this morning, the last check-in, is a cat who just tugs at my heart. And leaving after the check-in this morning thinking, I don't know that I'll see this client again. I don't know that I can circle back. I don't know if I'm going to be able to save my daughter's life. And the insurance just keeps getting crappier and crappier. So I look really awful. Sorry, guys. Because I'm struggling with this catch-22, I just kept getting pigeonholed, unable to get employment after that injury, having to drop the health care. Now I have a child who really needs that health insurance benefit to live so she doesn't die from the eating disorder. And there's a high deductible. I can't do it. So I had to give up the one job I eventually found that I love, to stay home to monitor her. And it feels like there are no other choices after this. It's just done. So I'm just venting. I'm upset and struggling. And I see so many stories online, social media, of everybody struggling. I did it all right. I have my bachelor's degree, experience. It just doesn't matter. The people in charge, they don't care. When I first had the injury with my corporate America job, they demanded about a day or two after the surgery that was going to require 3 months of being in bed, because you can't walk on it when they put metal in your ankle, that I come in a hospital bed or a wheelchair, or they would lose my job and then I would have no ability to file for unemployment insurance. I had to get a lawyer. I mean, it was crazy. And eventually the lawyer stepped in and I was able to get a small compensation, but it's been downhill ever since. And I think this eating disorder with my daughter is breaking me. The job that was bringing in some income and feeling of contributing and having some cushion there for my kids, I had to give up. So I'm on my way to a client now. I told the employer I could do it through next Friday and had to juggle some things, but this is tremendously hard. And now more than ever, we need Bernie and we need Medicare for all, because this just breaks people. It just breaks you. Even if you do all the right steps to think you're going to have something better, it's just not working, and we have to change it. I'm really proud of all the Bernie people sticking it out since 2016 and growing the movement. So I'm still feeling the burn. I'm just having a rough day. All right. Thanks, guys.